All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we've got to talk about a really weird paradox that's happening right now. The AI tools that were supposed to free us up for deep, creative work seem to be doing the exact opposite. They're trapping us in this endless grind of meetings. So, let's break down why this is happening, and more importantly, what we can do about it.
You know, this quote, it really hits home for a lot of folks in tech, right? The whole promise of AI was more building, more time in that creative flow state. But the reality just feels different. The very tool that was meant to amplify our ability to create is actually changing the entire nature of the job. And look, this isn't some new, shocking thing that's happening. It's actually a classic economic idea from way back in 1865. It's called the Jevons Paradox. Basically, when something gets super efficient and cheap to use, like coal back then, or writing code today, we don't end up using less of it. Nope, we use way more.
Okay, so here's where it gets real. We're seeing this paradox play out right now. Developers using AI tools are completing 21% more tasks. And you're thinking, awesome, that's a win. But hold on, look at the other side of this. Code review times, they've shot up by a whopping 91%. The work didn't just disappear, it just moved. It shifted from the doing to the deciding.
In this shift, this move from doing to deciding, it's caused this massive kind of invisible explosion in the amount of coordination and alignment we all have to do just to get anything done.
And this chart, man, it just puts a number on what we all feel in our gut every day. 57%. Almost 60% of our day is now spent just communicating, talking about the work, not actually doing the work. And no, this isn't just something that happened in the last year or two. This is a huge trend. We're in 3 times more meetings than we were just a decade ago. It's not in your head. Your calendar really has gotten that much worse. So, where did all this coordination work come from? Who's picking up the slack? Well, at the exact same time, we've seen this huge 42% drop in job postings for mid-level managers. And that work they used to do, the aligning, the unblocking, the constant communicating, it didn't just evaporate. It got pushed down, right onto the plates of senior individual contributors.
And you can see this trend perfectly in this one little acronym, DRI, the Directly Responsible Individual. I mean, look at this. 3 years ago, nobody was searching for this. It was basically zero. Today, it's at an all-time high. It's a huge signal that we now expect our senior engineers to also be mini project managers, responsible for all this coordination they were never really trained to do.
So this creates this invisible tax on getting anything done. We're calling it coordination entropy. Think of it like this. With all these AI-powered projects happening at once, the alignment between them just naturally starts to drift apart, to decay. A vague decision that used to be no big deal for one project, now it can quietly sabotage a dozen others because everything is so interconnected.
Okay, so the new job is all about deciding. But why is it so ridiculously hard? Well, the answer really gets to the core of how we try and often fail to work together.
The kinds of problems AI is forcing us to deal with now, we're talking big architectural choices, right? Or figuring out how to sequence work across 5 different teams. These aren't simple problems. And complexity science tells us something really important here. The best answers don't come from the smartest person in the room thinking harder in isolation. No, the breakthroughs happen when you get a bunch of different viewpoints to clash and collide.
And that collision, let's be honest, it's uncomfortable. It's messy. It even has a name, the groan zone. You know this feeling. It's that part of the meeting where ideas are flying, nobody agrees yet, and everything inside you is just screaming, oh my God, can we please just pick something and get back to real work? But here's the thing, that uncomfortable, painful spot, that's where the real work happens. You have to sit in that discomfort to actually reach a great decision.
So that raises a pretty big question, right? If this groan zone, this productive struggle, is so critical, why do we spend all our time in the exact opposite? Why are our calendars jam-packed with these useless status meetings that feel designed to avoid any kind of real debate or discomfort?
Well, the answer is kind of awkward. It comes down to basic human psychology. We all need to feel competent, to have some autonomy, and to feel connected to others. And a typical status meeting, it's a perfect machine for meeting the needs of senior leaders. They feel competent by talking and directing. They feel autonomous by calling the meeting. And they feel connected by being the center of it all. And for everyone else in the room, your needs are completely ignored. You're passive. Your calendar is held hostage. You're basically just a warm body in a chair.
Okay, so how do we fix this disaster?
The answer isn't just screaming fewer meetings. We have to fundamentally redesign what our meetings are for. This is a design problem, not a people problem.
We've got to be really clear about what we can control and what we can't. The fact that work is getting more complex because of AI, we can't stop that. That's the new reality. But that coordination entropy, that chaos that comes from misalignment, that is 100% a design choice. We can choose to build better systems to manage it.
And you know this is true because you've felt the opposite. You've been in that one rare, incredible meeting where everything just clicks. Ideas flow, people build on each other's thoughts, and you walk out feeling totally energized, not drained. There's a name for that feeling too, collective effervescence. And the point is, it's not magic, it's not luck. It's a state you can actually design for.
So here's the bottom line. This is the big takeaway. We have to start treating how we collaborate with the same seriousness we treat our tech stack. The companies that are going to win in this new era are the ones who instrument their coordination layer, how they make decisions, how they get aligned, with the exact same discipline and rigor they bring to their deployment pipeline. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. We're all taught to see meetings as the thing that kills our flow state, right? It's the interruption. But what if that's wrong? What if your team's meetings became a flow state themselves? What could you actually accomplish if that time you spent together was the most creative, the most productive part of your entire week?